I'm Professor Pieter Kruger. I'm a consultant clinical psychologist and the director for the Centre for Health and Human Performance at Northwest University. And today we are talking again to Ms. Hanli Degenaar, a senior speech and language therapist and also the manager of care to kids at the CHHP. And Hanli has a wealth of experience in neuroprotective development and communication interaction. So, Hanli, I'd like to talk to you today about a very interesting and relevant topic that affects most of us. And living in this information age full of technology, is screen time becoming the new babysitter?
Well, I don't think I have to answer that question. I think everybody, if they're honest, they know that they use screens to babysit their children. And the reason for that is it is just easy, it's convenient, you carry it around with you everywhere, and it keeps children quiet. It keeps teenagers quiet, it keeps school children quiet, and babies, they are, if they see a screen, they get glued to it and they stop with crying. So yes, it has become the new babysitter, and parents use that because it's so convenient, but it comes at a cost.
Absolutely, and that's where we want to get to today, because I think we are very much in agreement. What you've just said is spot on. Anybody with children or just observing friends with children would know that. So if we look at the cost involved and the challenges coming with this, how does screen time shape a child's brain, and what is the neurological impact of this?
So we know that there's windows of opportunity, times when children develop certain skills the best. And that is even more so in the first 3 years of a child's life. That's also the time that parents are complaining about terrible twos in their children's behaviour. So yeah, if they're quiet, we think they are okay. And we're very happy with our children that is so well disciplined. But if a child is exposed to screens, and there are very much, there's enough research and scientific evidence to show us that they shouldn't have, that screen time should be limited. Children are, the parts of the brain that is activated is not the parts that are going to develop self-regulation, emotional regulation, cognitive development, and often not even language development. And then parents will ask, but how is that possible? Because my child can say things, they can repeat words, they do the actions of what they see. The problem is it's all imitation. It's not something the child is thinking about. It's not something their own brain is creating. And by every time that a child watches or spend time with screens, it's valuable time where you could have gotten some dynamic brain activation, which is the key for future success in academics, and also to help children, especially teenagers, to learn how to think creatively, responsibly, and achieve as adults in the work world.
Can, if they spend too much time on screens, it have an influence on factors such as communication, for example, or maybe even social skills in toddlers?
So there is enough evidence to show us that when children are exposed to screens, that certain pathways or white matter in the brain develops not as well as a child that had enough conversation time, playtime with parents, language stimulation such as stories, conversations. So, but there's also evidence that says if we expose children to screens, they can also learn something from it. So it's not all bad, but the way that children are thinking is changed by the screens, and especially if it's children 0 to 3, we have a problem. If the child just starts thinking about what they see on the screens, and the parents are, the time that they spend in conversation, in a time of their life where conversation is everything, experience with parents, with adults is everything, poses a huge risk for their brain development.
In a previous talk, we've discussed the importance of playtime and how good that is for a child's development and also for their well-being. But how is screen time impacting on this?
Children, the first thing that it impacts on is children's sleep and sleep patterns. If you don't sleep well, your behaviour is also affected. And if children don't feel well, if they've got challenging behaviour, they won't play. Parents tend to discipline that, and then they restrict play. And often a child is given a screen in hand to just calm them down. So children are moving about less. They don't have the opportunity to move around, try out their thought processes, interact with other children. What the research has also shown is that children that are exposed to screen time, which is sometimes up to 9 hours a day, they do not play. Which we can understand. Parents will tell you that the television is on, or there is a screen in the play area, but the child is not. The child is still playing, but we know that the quality of play is different. They do not have any imaginative play, and if you don't have imaginative play in the first 8 to 12 years of your life, you are in serious or at serious risk of not developing your prefrontal cortex as well as it should be, and all our behavior, all our best performance depends on what we are doing with our prefrontal cortex.
The fact that watching TV is a one-dimensional thing, there's no interaction, you just stare at the screen, can this have an influence on a toddler or child's ability to focus and specifically follow instructions?
Yes, because children, it's fast-paced and high intensity stimulation. So the child gets used to that. So the brain is looking for that all the time. And now children can't shift attention on their own. They can't regulate their own attention from one activity to another. They are struggling to think in a way that they can use language to problem solve, and we know that we can't do anything without language. We can't have this conversation without language. We can't think without language, and we cannot regulate our emotions if we can't change our thought processes. And if parents, they use language to try and discipline children, but if children are exposed to screens that much, they do not respond to parents. Their listening skills are usually poorly developed, and that just gets worse as they get older, which is frustrating for parents. And but the only way you can practice listening skills is with conversations. Children do not learn that from screens.
But maybe asking you a curveball question, if parents say, but my child will only play educational games on an iPad, so it's not just watching brain dead TV, does that make a difference?
There is research to say that some educational programs are good for children. As I said, it's not all bad. But what we know, that even if they watch good quality educational programs or play educational games, you need co-play. They need a parent to co-play with them. You need to have conversations about that. And it's good if they can play with somebody else in face-to-face, have face-to-face interactions while they are playing and in the same room, not when they are playing with a person remotely in a different country, in a different town. So yes, there is a place for educational programs, and we live in a digital society. We cannot keep children away from it, so it's not all bad, but the good comes with something that parents need to do to help children to navigate.
Makes perfect sense. Maybe the last question, and I think this is the most important one people want to hear about, is, if at all, what does healthy screen time look like?
There are guidelines that the American Psychiatric Association has set out, which I think is a very good guideline, and it's regularly updated with new research. And the rule of thumb is children under the age of 3 should not have any screen time. Thereafter, they can increase the time that the children are having on screens, but it's much less than the amount of hours that people are reporting when they bring children to Care to Kids. It's actually, it's scary to see how much time they spend on screens. And then parents should model good screen behaviour. So you need to teach your children that there's a time to put screens down. You can't have screens all the time. Your family interaction and family conversations should be the most important thing in any for any family. And we teach our children manners, but we don't teach them how to have manners with screens. So that is really important. And then parents should and families should make time for doing things together, preparing a meal together. Play is important, and just spend time in nature, because that's the other thing that the science is showing us, that children are spending much less time in nature than previous generations, and that has a huge impact on their well-being and their need for screens.
Thank you very much for some really insightful and interesting answers there. I think it's important to be able to disconnect from technology to connect with yourself and your health and your life and your family. So please make sure you get the balance right. And if you have any questions around screen time or guidelines on this, please feel free to get in touch with Care to Kids at the CHHP. Join us again for some of the talks to come. Thank you.